The moment you realize that there are things you want to do, the moment you realize you either missed the gun or you haven't been working as hard as what you want to do as you would like, that's the moment you get to start doing that thing.
Welcome to the Ignited Recovery podcast, a new way forward for anyone looking for answers but feeling left out. If you've been searching for empowerment, triumph, and purpose, you've found them right here. You won't hear the same solutions, and you're not going to have any excuses to fall back on, because Ignited Recovery allows heroes to rise and become their best selves. I'm Dr. Adi Jaffe, and I can't wait to be your guide on this journey. Are you ready to become an ignited hero?
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of the Ignited Recovery Secrets podcast. I'm Adi Jaffe, and I've got something quick but hopefully meaningful for you today. I am speaking to you from Miches in the Dominican Republic, where Sophie and I have actually been taking a vacation at a Club Med. I'll even have a link for it because, I don't know, if your parents, this place has been magic. The kids have loved just hanging out, which meant that we've had both time for ourselves, but maybe more importantly, time to spend together, with three kids who are being taken care of. So it's been really, really nice. And one of those times, we were at a restaurant. There's a couple of restaurants here, and we're hanging out, and they had one of those bands. You know the bands I'm talking about? The like jazzy, loungy bands. This was actually just two people, piano player, singer / guitar player, and they were singing songs. And we're hanging out by the bar waiting for our table, and all of a sudden I recognized the lyrics. And the lyrics that they were singing were of the song Time by Pink Floyd. I'll read you the lyrics for a little bit. I'm a real lyric person. I don't know if you are or not, but it goes like this. Taking away the moments that make up a dull day, fritter and waste the hours in an offhand way, kicking around on a piece of the ground in your hometown, waiting for someone or something to show you the way. Tired of laying in the sunshine, staying home to watch the rain. You are young and life is long and there is time to kill today. And then one day you find 10 years have got behind you. No one told you when to run. You missed the starting gun. And it goes on, but that was the point where I realized that they were singing the song. And it made me think of really one of the very common conversations that I have with so many of the people that I work with. And that is that they missed the boat. The starting gun had gone off. Everybody else's life had begun. Their careers had started, or their talents had been recognized, or they did something great. And here I am sitting around, frittering my time away, watching the rain. I forgot to start, and now it's too late. And I don't know if you relate to that at all, but I know a ton of people that I work with too. And I really wanted to speak to that a little bit because there's such a false sense. I'm a huge Pink Floyd fan. I mean, I love the band. I love the lyrics. I'm a really lyric-oriented music lover, so it really is important to me what the songs say. It's funny, like Sophie's not that way at all. She can care less. Half the time she doesn't even know what the words are in the song, but that's just not the way I am. And so I really listen to the words, and Pink Floyd, for that reason, especially when I was younger, yes, stoned in a dorm room or whatever, was one of my favorites. And there's a truth in this song, right? There's a truth, and that is nobody tells you the starting gun. If you have one of those parents who really drove you, they may have even made you feel like the starting gun started when you were born, like you had to constantly achieve for the moment you took your first breath. But if you have a lot of other parents, they let you play and do your thing and let you choose what you wanted to do, etc. And there was no starting gun. It doesn't exist. And there are a few different ways of taking that reality into consideration. One of them is to get really freaked out that you're 30 now listening to this, or 35, or some of you are in your late 20s, or some of you are in your mid 40s, 45, listening to this going, shit, I didn't get the starting gun. I didn't hear it. I didn't put my foot forward. I didn't start running the way I would have wanted to. And the reason that's an important thing to explicitly recognize is because then I get to tell you, none of us have a starting gun. None of us had a starting gun, right? You get to start running whenever you realize it. But here's the beauty of it. Life is not a 5K, right? If you realize you missed a starting gun, there's no gun in a 5K. But if you realize you missed a starting gun, you're in the Olympics and you're running a 400-meter race, like one lap around the track, you're kind of screwed. Because even if it only took you 30 seconds or a minute to realize it, everybody else is way ahead of you and you got a lot of catching up to do. But here are a couple of important facts for everybody to realize. None of us are trying to get to the end point. None of us are trying to get to the finish line. You already know the finish line. You're not trying to rush towards it. So if you got to be lazy and mosey around and just kind of do your own thing for the first however many years of your life, be grateful for that. Cherish that. Don't hate on it. And then if you've now decided it's time to, lace up my shoes and go running, it's time to get something done, be excited about that. Don't start being anxious about, I should have started doing it a decade ago. You didn't. But you can start now. Fire your own starting gun and go, I am now all in. There are so many opportunities to feel like you're less than. You're behind other people's success, especially now in this age of social media, right? No matter what it is you want to do, you will find an account, you will find an influencer, you will find a person that is ages ahead of you, according to their social media account anyway, in terms of the impact they have, the success they've had, the money they've had, whatever. It doesn't really matter what it is you're trying to achieve, you'll find somebody there. But you're not racing with them. You are not trying to beat them. You know how I know that? Because if you were one of the people who was trying to beat them, your starting gun was so long ago, you can't even put the brakes on. Right? There are people like that who are just uber competitive and always want to beat everybody else. That's fine. But if you realize right now that the race that you want to be part of has already started, cool. Then you can start too. And life is more like an ultra marathon, right? You get hundreds of miles of running. You missed it by a couple of hours even, it's not that big a deal. Put your shoes on and start going. Because in that song that I just read you, the continuation is, so you run and you run to catch up with the sun, but it's sinking, racing around to come up behind you again. The sun is the same in a relative way, but you're older, shorter of breath, and one day closer to death. Every day that we live is, even though we don't know how many days we have left, one day closer to death, right? So the moment you realize that there are things you want to do, the moment you realize you either missed the gun or you haven't been working as hard as what you want to do as you would like, that's the moment you get to start doing that thing. You've heard some of these late life success stories like Ray Kroc from McDonald's or, Colonel Sanders from KFC and J.K. Rowling, who didn't get published until relatively later in life. All these stories. The reason we all tell you those stories isn't because we're trying to just muster up some hope for you. We're trying to show you that even in the limelight, there are people who are lauded for success that it took them decades to get to, even though they started late. They're examples, they're road posts, there are ways for you to understand what is possible. So yes, Pink Floyd is an amazing band. The lyrics are true, right? A lot of us fritter and waste our time for longer than we wish. There's one difference in perspective between the band and me, and I think they say that really, really well in the in the last verse here. Every year is getting shorter, never seem to find the time. Plans that either come to naught or half a page of scribbled lines. Hanging on in quiet desperation is the English way. The time is gone, the song is over. Thought I'd something more to say. Well, some of you are British, I know that for a fact. But you don't have to hang on. And you definitely don't have to hang on in desperation, right? This is the thing. You can live fully no matter when this point lands. So, even if you're listening to me right now and this isn't really making sense, you don't know why I'm saying it, it's all good. When this point lands, the seed will germinate and grow and flower. And that's when I want you to realize, oh my God, that's what he was talking about. I can start right now. Okay. I hope that was useful for you. I want to go grab some breakfast. It really hit me the other day when I heard it. And I am one of those people who always feels like I'm behind. Like I always need to run harder. And it was just a really good recognition of, you know what? I'm running as far and fast as I could. What if other people are struggling with the same thing? Love you all so much. If any of this resonated, take a screenshot, DM me, tag me. Would love to hear from you guys. Don't forget, if you leave a review and we read it on the air on Wednesday, you can get some nice prizes. All right, y'all. See you next week. Have a great weekend. Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to the Ignited Heroes Recovery Podcast. I really hope you found the information here useful and that we'll see you back here next week. And look, I want to make sure that this podcast is the most useful it can be for you, so please let me know by emailing info@ignited.com if there are any specific topics or questions you'd like to have addressed. As usual, if you like this episode, I would love for you to leave us a 5-star review and rating. Thanks, and see you next week.